This is KV, and this is the moon phase report for the full moon that we are having on December 17th, which is fantastic. I have to tell you that, like, looking ahead at all the aspects on the big power days, like the new moon, like the full moon, are so amazing. Like, we are seriously kicking off. Uh, Actually, right now we're just in this really big, like, prep time, letting go time, but we're kicking off this amazing new year of possibilities of our life changing in ways that, like, we couldn't get through the muck. We couldn't peel enough layers to really be able to access this energy so that we could magnetize these things into our life. But now, come 2014, it's going to be a brand new world, and you mark my words on that. Like, we are just prepping for something that is so magical and so powerful and so dream come true. So a lot of the things that are happening right now are really to just completely align you and activate you and awaken you to what you really want to have in your life. Whether it is like success in your career, a baby, moving to some magical place, manifesting your soulmate or whatever, just a partner that really is an equal, and that complements you, whether it's like, letting go of all your issues with your body, with being free in sexual experiences, with trusting people again, with opening your heart and not just believing you're going to be hurt. And what is happening. I talked a little bit in the last time about how there is this wave of energy that is out there right now that is the sweetest, most magical energy that we've maybe ever experienced. And we've caught glimpses of it in our life when something fantastic happens, like we win the lottery, or, we manifest that dream job, or our book is published, or, whatever. We have we have the memories of these feelings when we're just like, oh my gosh, life is so magical. I can't believe this. I'm so lucky. And, what has so happened in many of our lives is then, a couple days move through, and then people are like, oh, now I'm depressed. Now I'm not happy anymore. Now I don't have that, almost like a junkie. Like, then you're needing more and needing more and needing more. So, there's something with this energy that's much more stable. And once you can find this wave, and I told you in the last video, you usually find the wave after moving through something that felt like it was going to drive you crazy. It was so like, definitely the energy of it was where you just can't take anything more. And it was just too much to deal with. And, you can't handle one more aspect of this kind of situation. So there was a really strong frustration. And then after that, it's almost like the bridge that takes you from the frustration to the blissed out state is that deep and honest surrender, and not just paying it lip service, but really just pulling back and saying, all I can do is my best. I will just try to see the best about this. I will trust that this is something that has to happen in my life and that is a part of my path. So the bridge is this really kind of deep surrender of just like, I'm going to trust you on this higher power. I'm going to trust that there's a reason for this. I'm going to trust that, that, that this all happened how it's supposed to. And I want to share this because it just popped into my mind, and I was like, oh, I should share that, because I had a huge breakthrough in my life where, one of the things that I was really resentful for, after my father got hit by a car. He was in a coma, which I told you about how I woke him from the coma, but he had broken his upper back, and shattered his spine. And he was in a coma, so there was this decision that had to be made where they could either allow it to, because if he had been awake, they would have just allowed it to heal on its own. But because he was in a coma, there was this decision to go in, do surgery, and fuse it together. I think I've told you about that too. And the downside of having that surgery was that he would be in this nonstop pain for the rest of his life. That he would never be able to turn his head more than this, so he could only go like this. And then it would eventually kind of hunch over because it was all locked up in that top part. He'd never be able to crack his back. So it would be a lot of pain. And I, with my Randy mama too, who was a nurse, she did not want that surgery to be done. And I didn't either. And, but we weren't the power of attorney, and it was done. And I was really kind of resentful for that because you know, it meant that once he did come out of the coma, and then there was the journey of, months and months and months and months of physical therapy, like learning to walk again, kind of thing. And I was really resentful for that. And I was thinking about it the other day when I was out hiking, and I just got stopped in my tracks because I was shown how, had he had not had that surgery, he had a really high risk of being paralyzed. And I never really thought of that. And once that kind of came to my attention as, what would your father have liked more, to be in pain for every day of his life, or, to be paralyzed and have everybody have to take care of him? He would have not liked that at all. He would have not wanted to be a burden on everybody like that. So I never even gave that a thought for these, that happened like 13 years ago. I never even gave that a thought until that other day. And it just made me like say, everything does happen how it's supposed to. Everything is like, coming together exactly how it's supposed to. And even though we don't understand it a lot of the times while we're in it, we do just have to trust this stuff and not fight life so much, being like, no, I wanted it to go this other way and it didn't, and now I'm pissed. And, so we're just supposed to learn to go, okay, with everything in life, okay, if there's nothing more you can do to change it, if there's nothing more you can do to influence it, you have to just go, okay, that is how it is. If it's like it never came together with someone you thought you loved, which I get so many people with this question, in readings, it's so often that, you just have to go, okay, this is for the best. That wasn't the best person. There's somebody who's better. We can't always fight this stuff. I get a lot of people too wanting readings who are in love with someone who's with somebody else. And I'll just tell everybody right now, in case you come for a reading with me on that one, don't go there. That is not even legal. I know that it's something that will hurt you in the long run if you're chasing after someone who already is in partnership. And I think it's a really dishonoring thing to do to other women. If they're not single, they're not available. And I don't care how much you love them, how much you think they're your soulmate, how much you think you're destined to be together. If they are not available, they are not available. If they are in partnership, kissing, making love to somebody else, they're taken, period. Drop it. So that's one of the things we really have to understand in life and honor. Be like, gosh, I feel so much for this guy, and and whatever, and I dream that we're meant to be together and all this stuff. But if that's what you're feeling, you need to just keep that in your heart and just be like, okay, well, when he's available, he'll come for me and we can, maybe get this on. And if not, I have to let that go because I have to honor that woman. And she's trying to make it work with him, and she loves him, and she captured him, so let that go. And that one is so big out there. So many people come to me with that, like, but I just feel like he's my soulmate. And I'm like, he's taken? Drop it. I'm not going to give you a reading and tell you he is, even if I see he is. Honestly, I'm gonna hold that back because we just can't do that to other women. It's something that's really important. We can't treat them that way. Anyway, so with the energies right now, we are in this really magical, we're in this really, really magical energetic space of really being able to let go of these things that are keeping us from expanding and moving forward in our life. So spotlights are not only on everything that you really need to look at that is holding you back, but also it's a huge gateway opening where it's basically, if you can just name it, it will fall away. And we don't always have this kind of energetic gift happening, but we have it now. And we mostly have it now because of where we're moving in 2014. So it's really just about, what thought process do I need to let go of? Actually, I'm going to start doing the individual readings again, because I've gotten some people who are sending me messages about how they miss them and they don't like these longer ones as much. Even though then I'm getting messages from people who like these longer ones a lot, because then they can sit and do things and watch them. So I'm trying to be like everything for everyone. I'm trying. So, on this reading, I am going to go through and just do a really brief thing of where you want to help you hone in on what area in your life there is something that you need to let go of, and change your thinking about in order to move forward in your life in this other direction. So I am going to do that in a minute. I also wanted to let you know, there's one thing that kind of is helping all of this right now, is that we are in this really deep nostalgic space. So a lot of you are waking up with thoughts of what needs to be healed from childhood, with things that aren't working. One of the things I think I talked about in the last video, about how so often we always want to heal something with somebody who will not talk to us or who will not listen to us. So there's this thing where we feel like we can't let it go because we aren't getting the confirmation, or we can't let it go because we're not able to talk this through with the person. And so your mind, especially coming out of dream time right now, you'll probably go right into these things that aren't making you happy, or that you can't solve, or that you don't know what to do about. That's the big one. You just don't know what to do about it. You don't know how to bridge this. You don't know how to heal this. So staying in that space of not knowing how to do it is actually keeping it locked in its shape and form in your life. So with these energies right now, it's really just going to be about asking to have this removed from your energetic space, asking to be done with it, asking for the willpower, the passion to let it go and just say, accept that you're not going to know what to do, and you're not going to get an answer on what to do, but just to like have it fall out of you anyway, have it fall out of you effortlessly. And that's where there's big power in that happening now at the end of this 2013. So it can be things you've struggled with for years now, where you couldn't let go, you couldn't figure out how to stop thinking about it, you couldn't figure out how to stop being mad about it. And now, if you can just like say the magic words of, I'm ready to be done with this, take this out of me, you can actually have this happen. And the main reason is because of these more out there in the world, doing what we're here to do, loving life fully, into that space that we're moving into of 2014. So there's lots of gifts that are being granted to us, where we are just realizing that really is not that important. And I don't need to hold on to this resentment. And I want to get into resentment too. I was told to share that message, because this is one of the biggest things that does hold people in this other held down space of not really being able to manifest their dreams. So I had something happen with a friend recently, and it was just, it's kind of like sometimes we are these catalysts because we are the straw that broke the camel's back. It was like there was already these 20 things going on with this person, and then we come in with just something that we think is innocent, but it pushes them over the edge, and that's that, and then they lash. So I had this thing happen where this happened with, one of my dearest friends, and I understood when she explained where it come from. I completely understood. I was like, whoa, I came in at the wrong time with this request. And I had all this built up thing too with it. So it came in with that heavy energy, and it just, but anyway, so, One of the things is that, when this happens too, like with me, I'm not someone who races to everyone to complain about these people or this situation or whatever. I'm definitely someone who, I pull it more inside and I want to process it. I kind of feel like it's between me and this person. That's that. I don't need to pull in other outside forces. One of the old ways of being is that we always then went to other people to talk about it. We went to other people to get their, she did what? She said what? Like, some of us, basically what it's doing is it's locking you into a victim mentality. And it's, if you can imagine, when you are going outside of this thing that is between you and me, and when you're going outside of it and like bashing someone, or wanting, kind of what it makes me think of is like high school, where you just like want my team against your team, and I'm going to tell all these people about you and paint you in a bad way and throw you under the bus, and to get all these other people to feel sorry for me for how horrible you are. And what happens with that, if you can imagine like a cage coming over your body and sealing you down into this lower vibration, and it's keeping you from manifesting all these awesome things that you would like to have in your life. So this is the truth. So when you are in that, like, bashing somebody else, hurting somebody else, wanting everybody else to believe these negative things about somebody else, you are hurting yourself most. And you are going to fuck up your life and your ability to manifest what you want if you're doing this. So I do kind of ask everybody to give that one some thought, because this is an old habit that we have to let go of. If we have a problem with anybody, the first thing we need to do is pull back, process how this relates to us, and then instantly kind of go into, how can we create peace from this? How can we bring balance to this? How can we get back to being loving each other again, instead of separating it even further by creating this negative anchored space of that person. Da, 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 da. I mean, look at, like, feel your face when you're bitching about somebody and complaining about somebody. Feel like what it feels like in your body. It's low and it's dense. You will never be a winner if you are still in that way of dealing with things in life, running to everybody else and wanting to get them on your side about how awful that person is, and it's like that kind of stuff. We have to look at ourselves. We have to be honest. We have to go within. We have to see how this relates to something we do, how their reaction is mirroring something we think, we do, we've done. We're clearing out all this karma right now, and that is a really big one that has kept us from manifesting our dreams. To think that, like, if you race to somebody and do that, you're going to hurt yourself so much. Like, it's sad. So I say, think about that. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. You don't want to go off and get that high school confirmation of, we all hate you. Just so you know, we hate you, or whatever, I even say that too. I've had to really be like, friends, do not call me when you have a problem with another friend, or you have a problem with your boyfriend, or you have a problem with your husband. Do not do that, because I do have that, and a lot of us do. We have that really protective thing of our people. So if they're coming to us saying this, we're going to be like, what? He did what? So it's just, I have to tell people, don't call me, because you know what I'm going to do, and I'll probably get in trouble for it later, because it'll somehow get out, and then I'm like, oh. But so yeah, that we have to just learn to deal with that kind of friction stuff. The friction stuff is a part of our life, and we need to take more responsibility of our role in it, and we don't need to seal our fate by going out and then trying to hurt that person, especially when so much of it relates to us. Otherwise we wouldn't be having this thing, so that's an important one. So right now it's a really big karma busting time. It's like we can, like, bust through our karmic boulders easier than we have this entire year. And it even feels different than this same time last year. It's still like enough is enough of it, where it's like we can't keep holding ourselves back. We can't keep like manifesting these lives we don't want because we haven't changed our thought processes. And with this one right now, it's very much about changing a thought process in order to manifest this other thing. So really kind of going in and recognizing, like I told you in the last one about that woman who made that awesome comment that opened me up to what I was doing inside my head and what I was doing with my self-talk. I kind of didn't really see it, which is crazy. So much of this stuff that we awaken to, we're like, how did I not see that? That's what I'm doing. So with this, the same way I dealt with that is the same way you have to deal with what is coming to you. Really just getting real, and don't just throw the blame onto somebody else. Well, because of you. Well, because of you. Like, I just dream of a world where we're done with that, like take responsibility for your part and move on and let it go. So, um, uh, let me go right into, I have so many special events that are happening, and I know that I have been talking about it. They're finally written in stone now. The one that's coming up on the full moon, I'll have the information below. It's going to be a distance healing call with Kuan Yin and the Medicine Buddha. So the Medicine Buddha came through and said that, I guess I say he, I don't know. That he wants to do this healing work on all of us now to really kind of pave the way for us to be in the right, kind of like doing a fast or a cleanse before this new year is what this one is about. And I'm not supposed to say this, but I was told that he's been known to even like take really big illness, tumor things out of your body. And it will depend on the clarity of your intention. I guess there's probably all kinds of factors with that, but like I wrote up in this thing, I would expect a miracle to happen. I would go in there expecting a miracle. So I'm going to have all the details of that below. This is going to be an activation too, so it's not going to be like our clearing calls that we've been doing. This is an actual mandala of light and energy and symbolism that goes into you that recalibrates you. So this one's going to be really magical, and I was so excited when I heard about it and what was going to happen, and so that's going to be on the 17th, and I'll have all the details of that. So another reason, this was planned, Tara planned it at this time because we're in this karmic busting density phase where we can really it's almost like if there's a jackhammer. Normally we have a jackhammer. Is that the jackhammer? Is that actually like that bang thing? But anyway, so we'll say jackhammer, and I don't think they are, you plug them in, right? It's a thing. But so we'll just say like it's not plugged in. So normally we have this jackhammer, we have to bust through this stuff and bust through this stuff and bust through this stuff. But like right now it is plugged in. So like right now it can be like, and like bust through it, open this hole, get this space moving, which then that magnetizes an ability for us to manifest this other stuff. So we can really bust through these really hard rock substances that are in our energetic structure and create this release, which then can send this other energy out there and magnetize these things that we really do want, and not things that we're always moving through that wound, moving through that density, moving through that negative way of thinking, being, whatever. So this is serious miracle time right now. So that event is happening on the 17th. I'm also, I'm so excited about this. I'm also on the New Year's, I'm going to have a 2-day of events. And on the first day, New Year's Day, it's going to be me first talking about, I'm going to go into the chart and just look at certain planets to see what are the best places for you to manifest these dreams in your life right for the new year. So I'm going to find where you're most going to have these particular gate openings. Like you could have one that is children related. You could have one that is work related. health related. So I'm going to go through all of those, talk briefly about that on the New Moon Day event. Then this dear woman whose name is Eva, and actually how we met is my guides told me that I needed to find this woman named Eva to get a reading from her. And every so often they're really clear like that. They'll be like, like even when I moved, well, with Santa Fe, I was living in Oakland, and I was told that in 2 months' time I would be moving to a place with better air. So it took me, a little while to figure out where that was, but it ended up being here, which better air doesn't apply now because of Fukushima. But anyway, there's no good air anywhere now. So I went to Etsy and I found her right away, and she was this Pleiadian light language healer reader, and I got this reading done from her. And I had always had this past life thing of having a fear that I would be murdered because of what I was talking about. So I had these really big walls up of not wanting to put myself out there too much. That was like my main reason for wanting to stay in the background and not even do videos like this, because I just always thought, I'm going to get murdered. I'm going to get murdered. I'm going to get murdered. And after this reading and activation I had with her is when my business exploded and I started doing these videos. So I have a really special, dear spot for this woman, and I am here now doing this stuff because of the activation she did on me. And so I'm gonna, after I be talking about the astrology on the 1st, Eva is then going to do a group activation for all of us, and it's going to really help us just get that imprinting put into us so that we are more open and ready and willing to manifest these things in our life, so that like what she did for me, she's going to do for you guys. So I'm so excited about that, and I'm going to wait to do details till after the event we have on the 17th. I need to get it all put together, but then the next day on the 2nd, we're going to have Tara come in with the shamanic journeying. So then we're going to have an event where we are going to go to the lower or underworld, and we're going to ask what is holding us back from living our dreams. And then we'll go back in to get more information on what we need to do to really shift out of whatever space so that we can really manifest what we would like to dream. And so it's going to be an awesome event. So first I'm going to tell you what areas you need to focus on. Then we're going to have this Pleiadian star seed activation. Then the next day we're going to do a shamanic journey work and kind of get some answers further on what we really need to do, what we need to let go of. So I'm so excited. And then on top of it, I finally start my classes on the 21st. I'll put the information down below there too. My transit reading classes. The first month is the Moon Journey Life Skills class, and it's going to be so much fun. And we already have about 33 people in there, and they're so awesome, and it's going to be so great. And I'm gonna give you information that's really gonna change your life. I'm gonna give you a lot of the information of how you can do what I'm doing too, or how you can start understanding how things are moving through your chart. This isn't gonna be a regular astrology reading where I'm gonna go through each sign and go extensively into all this stuff and slow and da da da. I'm gonna go boom. This is gonna be like I have this thing where I can take all this information and really discover what's really important, the important piece in it. Because with astrology, I delved so fully into it when I was younger. Well, anyway, I delved so fully into it that it lost all merit to me. I delved so fully into astrology that it became everything. And I lost a lot of faith in it for a couple years, like 2003, 4. I can't really remember what they were. But it was a couple years I just didn't want anything to do with it. I went so far down that rabbit hole that I found out that, yeah, there's just so much to it. But the thing that pulled me back into it was that I figured out how to make it really simple and have it to be more valid. So I really go in there and figure out what you really need to know about it in order to actually functionally use it to understand what is coming in your future. So those start on the 21st. They also come with a really cool companion book that I put together, because you will be needing a journal whether you go out and buy it or you get the one that I created, because it's a day-to-day thing where we're mapping all this stuff from your moods, from what house the moon's moving through. And then as the classes go further, we'll get into like the North Node and Pluto and Saturn and Chiron, and it's going to be so fantastic, and I'm so stoked. This is another thing that I dreamed up 14 years ago. A lot of the things I'm going to be teaching, I already wrote and put together 14 years ago. So it's like, oh, lesson plan 1, it's already done. I wrote it over a decade ago. So that's all the events, that's all the classes, that's all the things going on. It's really exciting. And now, what do you say we get into some individual readings? So, let's see. How about we start with, I'm like, let me look at the chart. Oh yeah, and this is what's really cool too, is that Venus goes retrograde on the December 21st when I do start that class at 29 degrees Capricorn. So even thinking about that, Venus was just about to move into Aquarius. Just about to move into Aquarius, which is where my Venus is, which is a cool Venus to have. So when it's at 29 degrees, it's going to go retrograde. And it's really cool, too. I think it's a perfect time to be starting my classes, because it is going to be a really big inward time of what do you love? How do you want to express your art? How can you more tune into your artistic nature so that it is a grounding force in your life, and even something that you can then take the steps closer, going backwards to figure out what the steps are to really bring this new expression of you being your art in the world. And so many of you who find me are artists, are healers. It's like those are kind of my those are the kind of the people I meet. So this will be a really big time anyway to recalibrate and think through that. So it's perfect to do this class that I'm doing as this is happening. So that's happening on the 21st. That's exciting. And then it's going to come back. Oh, and look at that. Even that too, it's going to come back into direct motion on January 31st. So even that, the day before February, that's wild, which is so about Aquarius. But it's coming back at 13 degrees Capricorn. It's going to be conjunct Pluto and opposing the Jupiter. So, oh my gosh, like seriously, the aspects for next year are so amazing. I'm like going crazy giddy over everyone I see. I'm like, how perfect is that? One, because that 13 degrees is that hot spot that you keep hearing about, or that's one of the hot spots with the Pluto and Uranus square, and then the Jupiter that comes into it, and then all the other planets that hit at that Libra point. But so that 13 degrees, that 11 degrees, 12 degrees, 13 degrees of, Libra, Cancer, Aries, and Capricorn are so important. Even it seems like most of the birth charts I get orders for recently, everybody is on one of those spots, and a big, whether it's their moon, it's, everything, they are being activated by these liberating, owning your power kind of aspects. So just the fact that it's going to be, that's amazing. That's why then we're going to be like, run with it. You took all this time to think about it, and now it's going to be like, run with it. And it's going to have Jupiter opposing Pluto. So that's the one that has the ability to just like bring these huge, massive transformational things, like boom, like, that's as big as they can be, where it can shift you into this other space. But what's really perfect, because what I always think of with the Jupiter and Pluto too, is that there is also this really strong possibility that you won't go to the depth, that you will just want to ride the surface and no, it's okay. I don't need to do that. I don't need to look at that. I don't need to face that. So there's always that possibility with that aspect. Like when I see that in the chart, I know that there's a great possibility that they will skim the surface and never do this because they don't, they just want to play like it's okay. I don't need to go do inner work. I don't need to, they always have that possibility. But then they also have the flip side of that is when they do, they get to discover these things that are like gold mines. Like they get to discover things that are the most powerful and the most shifting and the most earth shattering, so it's this two-sided coin with that one. So it's, so you can see how Venus is pulling us back and really going to be making us like, but what do you really love to do? But how would you really like to express your life? But what will it really take? So it's going to force us to go back and examine that. And then when it goes direct, it's going to be like, boom, like big wide gate opening with a kick, like you're going to get kicked like a football out into this new thing. So, yeehaw! Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to try to go through these quickly because I have to do a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, so let's start with Aries. Aries, you're going to be letting go of some way that you are communicating. This one's going to be in alignment with that. Something with how you've been using your mind. And it can be even just kind of like thinking the worst, thinking that, there's some kind of block in your mind that you need to examine. And by shifting this and awakening to it and letting go this old pattern, it can be something from childhood, early days, even like in school, if you were, like I kind of tell a lot of people, like Waldorf is a system that a lot of these artists would thrive in. But if you went to public schools, it may have been ingrained that, you're not right, you're not smart, you're not, something may have like been ingrained into you from your early beginning times, and you need to let that go so that you can get your stuff more out in the world, so that you can do something like even like publishing related. It could even be you working on writing something that then you'll get out into the world. And there's so much about you taking care of all these things that are in your immediate environment that once you shift them, transform them, let them go, you're going to be able to take things out there more in a bigger way. It can even be like bringing more like traveling into your life, meeting somebody from another country, um, teaching something finally, maybe like there's something where you're like, God, I really wanted to teach this and share this but no, but remember, I'm not smart and I'm not da da da. So some kind of shift down there is going to allow this other expression to come forward in a bigger global out there sort of way. And that's what you need to know to then shift into the next year and be doing this thing. So that's yours. Taurus, yours is going to be where, and this is perfect for you, this is just awesome, but something is shifting within you that is that values thing. That is like, you are worth it. You're going to have to come to something that I do deserve to live a good life, and I do deserve to have awesome things happen. And something too with like, believing in your creative gifts. So maybe you've been like, no, I can't make money this way. That's not really feasible to, be able to make money from something that takes my hands to make. So you're just going to shift out of that and be like, I can have anything I want. And then you're going to be able to move forward more in even like, something with like using the magic or something like shamanism or something that's otherworldly in that kind of way to help you feel more worth about who you are. So even like doing these kind of shamanic journey work, doing these kind of things that are going to kind of help you in a psychological way is where you'll be able to have more growth in your life right now. So really shifting out of any fences you have around yourself that, say you're just not good enough and you can't really do this. I mean, this will be a money one too. So like, even kind of shifting your ideas about manifesting money and having more money in your life. And then you're going to just be able to maybe even like keeping it real about where you do not really value yourself is actually going to open you to being able to confront and heal some wounds that you've not wanted to look at, that you've wanted to keep buried. And then that can just unfold in a way that just shifts your whole life. You know, when we let go of these layers, when we peel back these layers and find these wounds and make peace with these wounds, our life changes. So that's a big one with you. Gemini. Gemini is going to be, this is going to be a relationship one with you. And you're going to have you're going to have the ability to actually move into these more positive and empowering relationships by really kind of owning what you need in life to be happy. And really kind of also shifting some things in your thought patterns about how people see you. So this can be something related to being those twins and having that, you know, I have this thing with Gemini. If you know me, like I love so many Geminis, but I've only been hurt by Geminis. Like that's the sign that always breaks my heart in some way, like that, because it's that other side of the Gemini will always kind of, I've just been stabbed in the back by that sign more than any other sign. So it could even be you just really kind of wanting to make peace with that and like, you know, kind of like just bring forward the highest expression of Gemini, which is so fun and so great to hang out with and so fun to talk to. And, you know, they just have this like carefree view of life and like they're just fun. So maybe there's something with you needing to really kind of bridge those two sides of your personality so that that meaner one that can be hurtful is just as hurtful as Scorpio can be when they're in that way, or worse, I think, because it comes so like on a flip of this other side, you know. So making some peace with that and really like thinking about how people see you and thinking about even like what I said, that imprinted me. And it's happened so many times that it seriously imprinted me, you know? It makes me like, oh gosh, you're Gemini. I'm scared. I'm scared to love you, you know? Because it's like, are you going to hurt me worse than anybody has? So, you know, kind of thinking about that and really kind of making these desires to really like make some peace with that, the other side of that twin side that, you know, is called evil, but I don't really want to say that, but just that can be really hurtful. And by you doing that, you're going to have the possibility to really move forward in these more abundant relationships with people. You're going to grow closer with them. You're going to have more possibilities to manifest somebody that's really positive and like maybe doesn't even open the door for that more darker side to open. So you're have this gateway opening to have these much more satisfying work relationships, people, friendship relationships, love relationships, just anybody that you would have in your life on a close way. You're going to have that possibility if you do kind of make some peace and retweak your mind with that darker side of the Gemini. Let's bring it all to the high, okay? So that's yours. And I'm having so much fun. I haven't done individual readings in so long. And I, even being in them now, I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. I forgot. Because it's where I really have no idea what I'm going to say and it just comes out. Okay, so Cancer. Okay, so Cancers, this is going to be where you are going to be, ow, leg cramp. Oh, how long have I been here? 43 minutes. Okay. So Cancer, yours is definitely going to be that one of really kind of going into that darker, not darker, into that cave, into that solitude, but a really good solitude sense, not where you're lonely and you feel left out, but where you just want to be in your own space and in your own energy, and to be there to help you work on things that are keeping you from believing in the dream and magic of life. And what's going to happen is that by you kind of being in this retreat space and in the space of magic too, so it's definitely in the space of believing in things like angels and stuff, and believing that there's this support around you, or spirits around you, or people who've passed around you supporting you and rooting you on, and like Understanding that there's so much more to this world than what we realize. So really kind of connecting into that metaphysical realm, by really kind of going in there and putting more stock in it, believing more in it, believing in the power of crystals, believing in, all this kind of land of magic, but that it is something that does require you to be kind of more inward, but to feel good about it, to honor this space, and when I ever do finally get around to writing this book on ascension, that's one of the things is you go inward. And it's a big shift that a lot of people have a big problem with. And it's where you can be so social, so out there, so dating, so many friends, never home, always living this life of next, 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 next. And then it'll have like this screeching stop where then everything is inward and you don't want to leave the house and you don't want to be in around crowds and you don't want to go to parties anymore and you don't just want to hang out with anybody and your time becomes very precious. And it's not always the most comfortable time, but so many people in that ascension state question themselves so much about, why do I only want to be home and be alone now? Why do I just crave being out of everybody else's space? And honestly, it's just a time when we need to only be in our own energy and not being influenced by all these other outside forces, and also the ones that are keeping us in an escape land of not really looking. It's like when you have a test to study for in college and you just got to go do it. You just got to be in that space, be in the books, be in the learning, not be out partying, which I was the worst in college. I was so out partying. I never, ever, ever was in class. I wasted a lot of money doing that. So there's going to be the ability, by you doing this, by you embracing this, by you embracing the cave, you will have a possibility to really have massive shifting healings in your life. So you will have the ability to align yourself more fully to your soul's purpose. You will have the ability to bring about actual miracle healing in your life. Everything kind of health related, you will have the ability to really see where these health issue things were manifested, and have the ability to clear them. So for you, it's about this healing and being more aligned to a soul's purpose sort of expression in life through embracing the cave and doing the work. So you need to change your mind into seeing the isolation or the cave as a bad thing, and instead shift it into, oh my gosh, this is the greatest opportunity ever. And then you'll be able to have these other things happen. Leo, 1, 2, 3, 4. Gosh, these are so quicker when I don't like stop and record. And although they're not as long, I know, but that's why we're doing brief here, because Mama's got to do some things today. Okay, so Leo is, this is going to be like, this can be something too with something with changing your thought process. Maybe it can be a friend related thing. Maybe it can be something where there has been a problem with a friend, where you haven't been able to express it, bring peace to it. Something like that. So it can be where you are going to need to change your thought process into like bringing more peace. There's also something like with a group. So it can be something in some kind of thing that this one, the moment I looked at this one, I knew it would be hard. That's why it's so funny. I can always tell there's always 1 or 2 signs that I can't bring through, and I never know why that happens, but there's always 1 or 2. So we found Leo is going to be one. Basically, there's something that needs to shift within a friend structure, within a group structure with your thinking. There's some kind of blocked thing where you can't switch and move with this thing, and you're not allowing the healing to come in. You're just accepting that it is what it is and dropping it. I'm almost seeing something like having a fight with a friend and then just walking away and being like, whatever. And that needs to be switched. There needs to be this less of an ego feeling hurt. And like I said, realizing that you had a role in this, you had a piece in this. And if you can do this sort of thing and kind of bring the piece into this, change your way of seeing it in some way, you're going to have the ability to kind of bring in all those things that are very much Leo based, right? Which is like feeling more creative, feeling more in love, feeling more carefree, feeling more like everything is all good. So there's kind of this weight of this thing that was not solved or healed or fixed with this friend, with something like that. And because of that, it's actually keeping you. And think about that too. Like you have a fight with someone and you can't do anything. You can't work. You can't do your art. You're just so your mind is trying to fix this, can't fix it. And when it is fixed, then you're like, okay, I feel great. Da da da. I can do my work now. So something like that is keeping you from doing this other thing. So think about that. There's something that just needs to be switched. And it can just be like, bowing down and just are coming down off that horse and just being like, I'm sorry. Is there, whatever. It's going to be unique to you for what you have to do, but you have to like definitely get out of your box of being like a bruised ego or thinking that you don't have the solution to fix this and realizing that you do have the solution to fix it, but it's going to take you coming forward and making the peace and apologizing and reaching out and something like that. And then by doing that, you're going to have this big like damn door opened. Damn, that damn door is going to get opened. This big dam that's holding back this creative water expression. And by doing this work with this friend or with this group, you'll be able to bring in this new era of, kind of heightened creativity, which of course you would like to have that moving into the new year, right? Of course you would. Okay, so Virgo. Okay, so Virgos, yours is going to be something that's going to be something that's going to be needing to shift within the career arena. Something that's going to be something that's happening as a job. This is going to be can be something that is, how people even see you, maybe even needing to like polish up your image, make some changes. Maybe always thinking that I don't have to care about that in regards to my career, and maybe waking up to maybe you should, so kind of shifting out of some kind of thing. And, it can also be something too where you're thinking, like if you are unemployed or having a problem with a job, like if you are thinking too much about how hard it's been, or some kind of mental thing needs to switch in your mind that relates to your career sector. So maybe even thinking that this isn't possible, you can't make a living doing this, so shifting to, I think I can make a living doing this. This is my gift. I'm going to believe in myself. What does it hurt to believe in myself? So there's going to be a switch that needs to take place within your higher mind way of thinking. And by doing that, you're going to have this kind of more positive approach to working on things that are more childhood based blockage thing. So like they're going to relate. It's going to be with your career and with your home, with your career and with your home. So they can have this kind of figure eight cycle of working on one will make it much easier to deal with this other thing. Kind of like I would definitely say that when magic's happening in your career, you're not even seeing that you have any childhood issues. They're not really even like hitting you or noticing that you have anything because everything's manifesting in an awesome way. So you can like by kind of shifting this whatever thing, you can have more opportunities, even like coming to maybe do work from home. If you are thinking about something about, God, I just want to work from home, and that could be the switch that happens. So like up in your career, you're saying, you know what, I think I can do this. I think these are my gifts. I think I can, manifest this job from home, making homemade creations, So something will open up that allows that to become more of a possibility. So I'm almost feeling that one is the big one. Believe that you can do these things that maybe before you were saying you couldn't. And this reminds me, I should say this one quickly. With jobs, I would always get fired because I wasn't supposed to be doing those jobs, and also because I have a sassy mouth when things are not done with integrity. Like I just have a I just I'm not timid. I'm not like you can't roll all over me if it's not right. I have a really strong like I'll stand up and I'll definitely stand up for other people. Like I'm big on that one. Probably more for them than me, but I don't take a lot of shit. If it's shit, I don't take it. I'm like, nope, not gonna have anything to do with this. Bye. So, but what I was noticing the other day is that every time I would get fired, I was always so stoked and like, now I can bring Aquarius Nation to the world. Now I can get my birth chart books out there. So every time that would happen, and I'd be so inspired and I can do this. And then, a matter of days, it would be like, oh, let me see what's on Craigslist, and then I'd be like, oh, here's a cool barista job at this cool place. Okay, I'll go in there, and then I'd be like, yay, I got this job, I'm so excited, I've got money coming in, and the bills are going to be paid, and then in a matter of like a week, I'd be sitting there on my break and writing all these things about like, oh my gosh, get me out of this hell. Why didn't I believe in myself? Why didn't I use this energy to make my dream manifest? Why did I cave again and find myself again in a service industry job and hating it after a week? So this could be something for you where you just got to believe in yourself and believe that you can do these things and keep repeating this cycle where then you're back in one of those dead end jobs and I don't really mean dead end because they're not really that, but just that they're keeping you from really doing your thing. So you need to believe in yourself at this time. Okay, Libra. Libra is going to be about kind of like, Libras is going to be about letting go of that indecision, letting go of always feeling like you can't decide, like maybe just deciding to really kind of see things from a higher perspective and see how you've spent so much of your life in that indecision and I don't know, and this one's good, but that one's good, and this one's good, and that one's good, and I don't know. So kind of letting go of accepting that is how life is for you a lot, so that you can just get really clear in your decision making, in your communication, and if anything, just shoot the arrow out on either decision. Just really getting more like, I'm going to do this. This feels good. I'm going to do it. So kind of shifting that innate indecision that you've had normally and kind of redo it just to decide to start flipping coins or do something that just makes you say A or B. Okay, I'm doing A and going for it, going with it, not holding back. So yours is going to be about just deciding something and going for it and wishing the best and seeing what happens. So also really kind of staying more positive with your thought processes and not beating yourself up, because I imagine you beat yourself up a lot because of the indecision. So I imagine you're beating yourself up because you can't decide, and that's so unfair. So with this full moon, just kind of decide that from now on, you're just going to like jump on one and go. Feel it out and really, does this feel good? This feels good. I mean, the other side, I can see merit in it too, but let me just try it. Why not just try it? So there's going to be more of a positive gusto to just get out there and try it and make it work. Okay, Scorpio. So yours is going to be, Scorpio is going to be about, kind of like shifting your thought process with the depth related stuff. Even kind of seeing it more, shifting the work that you have to do and diving so head first into it, realizing that you can shift these things much quicker than you ever thought you could, and kind of just being like, you know what, I'm going to heal this stuff and I'm going to heal it quickly, and I'm going to, I'm going to like make peace with some of these darker things that I feel and just put love into them, because the dark things are awesome. I'm one of the dark lovers, so I'm like, oh, the darker and the deeper, the better every time, anything comes up for me and I'm like, yeah, we get to do this. We get to go deep on this. What does this mean? So maybe even having more of a positive approach to the depth, to the dive, to like, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to do this quick. I'm going to heal. Let's move on. Let's go. And what it's going to do is it's going to have you kind of feeling more positive about who you are, and more like realizing to the core about how valuable your peace in everything is, and how awesome it is to be a Scorpio, because it is. Scorpios rule. Most of my friends are Scorpio. I love me my Scorpios. Um, so there can be too something related to like using your creative gifts. That's going to be something too. With this. So feeling more positive to go out there and do something with doing what you're really good at, and it could even be that you're going to find that strength while in the depth situation. So that's when you're going to be like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I'm going to do this. So that's going to be Scorpio. Capricorn. Capricorn's going to be Okay, Capricorn's going to be about, this is going to be some kind of shift that's going to take place. So this can be really cool for the Capricorn. So some kind of shift that can take place within your, what you believe your service is to others, and anything healing based. So if there's anything that has been, if there's anything that has been like holding you back health wise, if there's any health situation going on, really kind of realizing that your thought process needs to be completely overhauled. Like you're doing something like what that person brought to my attention, saying something negative, putting yourself down, telling yourself that you're not good enough, telling yourself that you'll never get there, telling yourself that you just are here to suffer, you're just here to, it's just always going to be hard. So some kind of shift that you can do within your mind is going to have the ability to really come together and co-create with spirit to bring you some massive new opportunities, blessings, and they're coming from kind of co-creating with spirit. So it's something with your thought process that needs to be overhauled. And by doing that, you're going to feel so much more connected. Like even if you can be doing things that are more like crystal based, meditative based, studying tarot, coming into my astrology class, this would be a perfect one for you, Capricorns. Something that's just kind of going to give you more faith in the powers that be. So by switching your way you're communicating, you're going to have more faith that you are safe and that you are on schedule and that everything as is happening is exactly as it should. So it's really going to give you this solid core feeling of I'm protected, and as long as I just believe the best, I'm going to have the best. And as long as I believe that I can trust this process and I can trust my life, then I will have this more solid way of moving through this life path of mine. So yours, look at your thoughts, go into your head, see what you're doing. There needs to be a transformation here. You need to let go of this old way of defining yourself as a victim or never winning or what mistakes I made and blah, 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 blah. Shift that. Okay, Aquarius, yours is going to be, this is going to be one too with really kind of letting go of feeling like you can't do something creative based. You never find someone that really is a love match. Um, something with like, this is going to be one with believing in yourself again. So it's like, really believing that you can do this. And I'm always telling you this about how unique you are and how much you have to offer and how you're bringing in the new world. So really kind of shifting this limiting thing you have with believing what you can actually do, And by shifting that, you can have like the blessings of all blessings coming your way. Magic, synchronicity. If you can shift out of that mind space of saying, you're not really special, you're not really meant to shine, you're not really meant to be a star and to be seen for what you can do, what you're doing is not really valid or important. You shifting that is going to open up all this amazing magic to come your way. So, and you, where you can have anything you dream. So this is perfect for where we're moving into 2014, because we're getting more into that Aquarius energy expressing in the world. So, but you have to change this thing where you don't really believe you can do all of this. You just need to hold that space of, I am a creative genius. You know, I create these things that are so amazing. I have so much to offer the world. And you shifting that will open you to like a full gate opening where you can have anything you want, anything. And it's like, name it. What do you want? You can have it. There will also, there's definitely the possibility that it is something that is relating to, sun's coming in. I need to hurry. Soon it'll be right in my face. Coming together with groups, really kind of realizing if I come together with more groups, I can have a bigger impact out in the world. So there's this thing with realizing you do need to come. It's so group oriented now, and you can do so much more as a group than you can on your own. You know, and even like when I first created Aquarius Nation, I never thought of it just being about me. I was always like looking for these other people to come together with. Always kind of like, I mean, from the get-go, it was Aquarius Nation was never just me. Even though now I'm realizing, you know, you go to Aquarius Nation, you can't even find my horoscopes, you can't even find my videos because I was so about the group. So actually for me, I need to go more into, this is my space. I can combine my circle, my space with other people's circles and other people's groups, but this is my space. I really need to show that, hey, I'm the one here, and here's where you find this, and that's where you find that. And instead you have to click like 18 things before you find a video. I'm like, that doesn't really make sense, does it? Okay, so the final one, we're on final, right? Where's Pisces? Pisces. Okay, so yours, woohoo, 1, 2, 3. This is something, you're someone who's going to need the full moon activation with the medicine Buddha more than anyone. Also the one on the New Year's, because what needs to shift out of you, you need to shift your thought process about something childhood based, something mom based, something that you are still holding on to and feeling like you can't solve it, you don't know what to do. You're another person who would be really good in my second month of classes. You have to take the first month to take the second one to understand it, but that one's going to be the healing journey tools. So I'm going to go into and sharing all these tools to really help us clear out these childhood issue wounds and be done with them, to just be done with them. Like you're taking your trash out and you're done with it and you don't think about it anymore. You think about it when it's sitting there stinking and stinking up the room, but then when you finally decide to take that trash out and put it outside and be done with it, you don't think about it at all. You know, you're not like, oh God, the trash is out there. You know, you're like done. So I'm going to be teaching all these tools to take that trash out and be done with it. This is something you so need to really be going into your mind space and going into your memories and really think about, and you're probably already having them pop up a lot already. Because they're trying to get out. They're trying to get out of you. So they're coming to your attention. But where you have felt held back and hurt and damaged and wounded, and where you just can't move past it, it's something that you just can't move past because of it. And you're actually putting that cage over you and keeping things from manifesting because you're saying, I need to have a healing in regards to this, or I need validation in regards to this. And in all actuality, you don't. You just need to let it go. And that's easier said than done. That's why I would love if you could get into these events or classes, because you could have help with that. But at least for this full moon, intend that you're going to be done with it. Intend that, you know, you're just not going to see that as a deficit anymore, and have that be a deficit that then keeps you from manifesting all your dreams. And this one is career related. So if you can really like wipe the slate clean, do whatever you can to just like let it go, even if it takes writing out a solution to the problem. If it takes, like, you have always had this problem with this family member and it can never be healed because the other person doesn't want to talk about it. Write out that you did talk about it. Write out their response. Write out, I think I told you how I shifted my life by telling a different story about what my upbringing was like. And when I would tell the real story, I felt like I would feel my arms or my shoulders go down, and I felt like I looked like a victim, and poor you. But then when I told this other story, I'd be like, I'm awesome. Guess what kind of life I had. So I could feel myself being taller when I would tell this other story. So, think about that. Think about the power of that. And if you do, your career is going to explode into massive awesomeness. You will have the potential to manifest opportunities and fortunate things. It could take you, like, traveling. It could take you overseas. It could get your stuff out, publishing related, internet, starting a blog. You could have all this new kind of awesome success where you're really seen as like this positive, empowering force because of what you're going to shift and let go of from down below. So that is awesome. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. I also wanted to finish with one thing that's really cool. Christmas Day. And I'm not a holiday person at all. I'm the person who would never show up for like Thanksgivings and Christmases. I was always the bad seed like that. But I don't know, something about, I don't know what it is with me, but I don't care. They feel like created, they feel weird to me. They feel like uh, a monetary scam. Even like listening to holiday music, I was like, gosh, this is so weird. How these songs, then they're played, and it does make you feel this thing because you remember them from these songs, but it's just weird to me. It's just, I think I would rather just celebrate like equinoxes and solstices. The changing of a season is more exciting for a party for me. But anyway, Christmas Day, on that day, we have the moon and Mars conjunct, so right on top of each other in the same activation in Libra. So there's two ways that can go. One is that this can be so beautiful and, oh my gosh, I love you, and this really heart opening, sharing energy, pushing our hearts to express what they are feeling in a peaceful and loving and let's just come together sort of way. And it can also push them out where they can be like one-sided and you against me. There's still the possibility of that, but we won't even go there for that expression. We will just hope and manifest that it's one where we really do just come together in love, and this feels great, and oh my gosh, isn't it amazing? And the reason I do say more about that one is because that wave of amazing bliss energy that is out there, which I've been on it now for several weeks, and it doesn't filter it, or it doesn't falter. It hasn't shifted, and when I'm out, I'm just like, oh, and everybody who is feeling it says the exact same things. It feels so beautiful, so amazing. All is good. And everybody has the ability to get on this wave. But like I said, the bridge to it is surrendering. The bridge to it is not feeling so controlling. The bridge to it is not judging a situation as good or bad. And if you can do that, within a day, maybe hours, you shift into this other thing where you're just going to sit there and be like, I feel amazing. I feel amazing. Oh my gosh. And so everything kind of flips that way. So I'm going to stop there. You all have a beautiful full moon. I hope to see you on the event on the 17th. I'd love to see you in my class on the 21st and get to know you further. And I would also be so honored if you come and attend our New Year's Day and the day after event. to really get this party started. 2014, no messing around anymore, no more fluff, no more doing these things that aren't really changing us, but really like doing the work to get the job done right now so that you can really manifest this life of your dreams. Why not? You know, I've done it. You can do it. I'm going to show you how. All right. Have a beautiful day. Let me get ready. Okay. Bye.